Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. I hope you enjoy. Rex, A Nature of Predators one-shot, written by the guy Bob0101. Rex was a good boy, all things considered. Military for the most of his life. The old boy had seen Reynold through so many ground assaults against insurgents that the farmer would have picked him over any actual soldier any day of the week. Rex was a well-trained dog. He had to survive the military and extended combat deployment. But after a handful of years as an ordinary sheepdog, Rex's discipline was wavering, and Reynold let it happen. After all, so long as he kept Reynolds' flock in line, then God knew that Rex had earned the right to run around and be a bit spry, young and stupid dog for once. Reynolds sat back in his chair, sipping his bourbon as he watched Rex run all the sheep into the pen. The dog was smart, strong, brave, extremely clever, experienced, and careful. He just wasn't very obedient compared to most of the dogs that managed to make it in the military. "Poor dog helped me through hell and back," the graying farmer idly reminisced to himself. "I'm glad I can finally give him back a little." A smile tugged on the corner of his lips, but it only lasted for a handful of seconds. Not that it'll last. He had heard the bomb from all the way out here. New York was likely a distant memory by now. Reynold didn't know if he had lost anyone, and if these were going to be the last few days, or even hours. Then he'd rather not know. Sadness seeped into his expression. I just wish I could promise him a little longer. For now, though, he'd watch over his dog, and his dog would watch over his sheep. He felt the darkness of sleep tried to take him. The old veteran held out as long as he could, but he hadn't slept since he heard the news from the old career military buddy. The Federation was coming to bomb Earth, and they were doing so in numbers that made the entire military industry on Earth look medieval. A lot of people claimed there was still hope, but Reynold would believe it when he saw it. And right now, all he had seen was a bright flash in the direction of one of the biggest cities in the world. The fatigue continued to wear down on his eyelids. Well, it was time. Maybe he'd wake up tomorrow, maybe he wouldn't. But either way, it was out of his hands. Sleep came to him, whether he liked it or not. Rex did as his master wanted. He herded all the sheep up. They were all in the pen, all accounted for, except for maybe one or two, but Master didn't notice, so it was all okay. Speaking of Master, Rex ran over to the old man, happily wagging his tail as he sat in front of the aging human. It looked like Master was sleeping. That was good. Master needed sleep. He had been going without it for a while, for some reason. Humans were weird sometimes. So, with not much else to do, Rex happily curled up at his Master's feet. That was usually how it went, ever since the unending fights. The two of them guarding each other's peaceful slumbers from any angry humans with danger sticks. Rex didn't think the bad humans would ever come back, but every once in a while, he saw the figure of one of them in the distance. And his barking would occasionally anger Master, but when Rex saw that he'd scared the bad humans away, he knew it was worth it. Master didn't always appreciate it, but Rex knew that he'd done the right thing, even when Master withheld treats from him for a whole day. Okay, Master could be a little mean sometimes, but he was still more than worth it. His tail idly wagged as he stared up. The sky could be so pretty in some places, sometimes, and today it was especially intriguing. Strange alien streaks of glowing blue and orange clouds sporadically flickered into the night sky above him and out of existence just as fast. One particular cloud caught his eye. Instead of shrinking, it grew and grew. The orange cloud flew across the night sky. Wait, it looked like a cloud was coming down. His head poked up a little. Rex was curious, but he didn't want to leave Master's side. They continued to streak down towards the ground. As it did so, Rex heard a faint buzzing. He shook his head a little to dissuade the annoying bug, but it wasn't a bug. Rex realized after a few shakes of his head that the noise was coming from the cloud. His tail began to wag. What was this cloud doing? Rex let out a light whimper. He looked up at Master. The poor dog was conflicted. He intensely eyed the horizon for bad humans. If there were even a hint of one, then he was staying with Master. But he saw no bad humans, not even a little smidgen of one. Eventually, Rex steeled himself and sat up. Master needed to sleep. Rex wouldn't wake him, but Rex also really wanted to investigate the cloud. Speaking of, Rex heard the cloud make a deep rumbling noise as it fell under the tree line, and the buzzing suddenly stopped. Okay, now Rex had to investigate. He quickly darted off. Hua gulped. He had barely escaped the ship, jettisoning in the escape shuttle seconds before Arxel and Venlil forces tore it apart from two different angles. But now he was on Earth, the home of the humans. He wasn't alone, but Hal wasn't sure how much comfort it brought him to know that his comrades would be ripped apart by hungry humans alongside him. As they all got a head count of the survivors, Hua guarded the shuttle. He had to stay alert, or the humans might catch them off guard. Not that it would matter if the Predators decided to deal with the shuttle via aerial bombardment or overwhelming numbers. Hua just had to hope that the Virian states could convince the Federation into rescue efforts before the entire planet was destroyed, and that the ragtag force of survivors could somehow hold the humans off with their handfuls of ammunition and their singular dozen guns. He fidgeted anxiously. Every shift in the shadows felt like a threat worth shooting, and Hua knew they had limited ammunition as it was. But he wouldn't give in to panic. He'd proved the galaxy wrong. The Virians weren't just another bunch of weak-willed Venlil. They wouldn't cave to the humans like the Republic had, no matter how many traits they seemed to share on the surface. Sure, they both had thick wool, and were both on more skittish side of races, but here and now they would pull through, whatever it took. Anything yet, Hua? The Crocattle impatiently asked him. The old advisor had been promptly promoted to captain after the old one hadn't managed to flee to the shuttle in time. Was never Hua's favorite, but he was their leader now, and Hua would respect it. Urkel's new designation. No, sir, there's been a lot of movement, but as far as I can tell, it's just a wind at the moment. Rex hadn't found the cloud, but he had found something infinitely more interesting. It was a really large chunk of burnt metal and a lot of sheep. That was strange. The sheep stood on two legs, although it looked like they could walk on their fours as well. Maybe they wanted to imitate the humans. They weren't doing a very good job. Rex suspected that these weren't normal sheep. He idly trotted up to them. The confused dog gave a quiet ruff, and all the sheep turned and looked at him. He could smell the spook on them. They were all scared. But that was okay. He'd take them all home. His tail began to wag. But something was off. He noticed it looked like a bird, but Rex was familiar with the not-bird scent, the smell of hatred. He growled at it. The not-bird raised something at him. What is... crap, a danger stick! It recognized the shape, and while it was an alien one, the image of the danger stick would never be one he would forget. He dashed to the side, watching the ground where he was explode into hotness. Not wasting a step, Rex lunged at the bird, tackling it to the ground and sinking his teeth into the bird's throat. The bird was weak, and it collapsed under Rex's weight almost immediately as he tore at its throat. Good! It would stop fighting quicker. He thrashed it around, and quickly, after a weird crunching noise, its body went limp. He licked up the little bit of blood on his chops and looked up at the sheep again. Some were running, others were frozen still, and some had danger sticks. A mix of two trained responses kicked in reflexively, and Rex dodged, weaved, and barked and woofed, spurring the sheep into action as he nimbly dodged the scared creature's danger fire. He had fought scared bad humans before. Dodging their shots was a lot easier than dodging those of bad humans that were full of hate. It was almost easy, and all he had to do was keep them distracted. One started to straggle from the herd as they all ran off. Most had abandoned the danger sticks right after the initial volley, thankfully, but he still had to keep on guard and keep dodging. It only took one lucky use of the dreadstick to demobilize him and make him hurt. For now, though, he had to help the straggler get back to his friends. Rex valiantly charged forward, dashing away from the other danger stick around, barking at the straggler. The sheep quickly altered its course back to its friends. He zipped, then zagged, then balked, dodging two more danger stick rounds as he compelled the herd to move. Master was going to be so proud. Rex brought him twice as many sheep today. Hua frantically ran through the forest. They were being hunted. Hua watched in shock as the predator ripped out the new captain's neck, ending his service under the roll as quickly as it had started. He had froze, and when the gunfire started, he tried to join. Hua emptied his mag, but the creature's speed was insane. It moved faster than he could track it, and whenever he almost got a bead on it, its course would suddenly shift drastically, making him miss. When he heard his gun click, that's when he started running. He ran off into the woods, slowly splitting off from the stampede. But before he was fully separated, the predator was right next to him. With a terrified bleat, the Vurian charged back into the stampede, and as the gunfire ceased, he realized something. They were all out of ammo, and the predator was still chasing them. Reynold was woken up by the sun shining into his eyes. Not a pleasant way to wake up, under normal circumstances, but the sky was still clear enough for the sun to shine. He had lived another day. The farmer smirked and got up off his chair with a grunt. Crap! He was getting old. Reynold was only 39, but he supposed stress did tend to make you age a lot faster. He grabbed his shotgun out of caution and explored around the farm. He realized he'd never let Rex in. Damn, poor Doc was probably going to have a few choice barks for him when he got back. Well, not much to do about it. It was time to let the sheep out to graze. He idly strolled over to the gate, about to undo the padlock. But then he noticed something. There were way more sheep than yesterday, and some of the sheep were bipedal. His mind went blank for a few seconds. The old vet's stupor was only broken by a loud woof. He looked down to his dog. Rex dropped an alien pistol at Reynolds' feet. Reynold had been laughing for 10 minutes. Rex, you're getting all the treats after this. The old man happily scritched both sides of the dog's jaws as Rex's tail wagged with well-earned vigor. Reynold pulled out a handful of treats and let Rex eat them all right out of his hand. All right, boy. Guard, he commanded. Rex obliged, turning around and plopping his butt down in the usual spot. Now, if any sheep alien tried to escape, they would promptly be herded back. And if any other alien tried coming to their rescue, Rex would promptly raise the hell out of the perimeter intruder. He dialed up the number. Hey, it's Reynold. Oh, my bad. Can you get Oscar on the phone, ma'am? Just tell him it's from Reynold, and it's important. All right, thank you. Hey, Oscar, you remember Rex? Well, you're not going to fucking believe what he brought home. End of story. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Lord Azrael, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.